Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast. This is your roundup of companies making news on Wall Street and beyond, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today. We're joined by Isabel Lee, Bloomberg cross-asset reporter.
I'm looking at Tesla, but it's not really on the move. It's flat forward this morning. But Tesla recalled all Cybertrucks it produced and sold in the first 15 months it's been on the U.S. market. So it's really over a safety issue that it's having trouble resolving. So this is 1% of the 46,000 vehicles having a defect. So that's like 4,600. You have to admire my math there.
Yeah, really.
And they're saying pieces of the steel trim around the exterior of the truck has, quote, embrittlement. And I mean, they said they'll replace all the panels and etc. But I feel like it's more about sentiment. You know, like if you have a Tesla car, you might be worried about whether it's one of them.
Well, that's what I was wondering, too, though. How much of the move in Tesla stock is due to Musk and versus actual fundamentals? And it feels like when you talk to analysts, it's both. But it's just a matter of like what's going to continue, I guess, to move it. I'm not really sure.
We have Dan Ives, the biggest Tesla bull, or one of. We shouldn't really just throw around superlatives like that. But he's saying that he's acknowledging that investors are nervous because of Musk's involvement with the government and because he's stretched. I mean, you only have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, we were talking to Ross Gerber, who owns the stock of Gerber, Kowalski and Associates, and he was like, Musk needs to get back to Tesla and do stuff, and I don't think he's ever coming back. Like, he was mad about that.
To me, it's always been, you thank Elon Musk on the way up because there were no fundamentals supporting you. And you begrudge him on the way down because it's all about Elon and the valuation impact that he brings to that story. So anyway.
Totally true, that key man risk. All right, what else are you watching?
Nvidia. So there's a lot of news around the stock actually, but for now it's edging higher by 1.5%. We have the CEO calming investors, basically saying that fears about DeepSeek are misplaced. He said new types of AI models that produce more complex answers will only increase the need for computing infrastructure. We also have an exclusive by FT saying that they interviewed Huang, and Huang said that Nvidia aims to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to produce U.S.-made chips and electronics over the next 4 years. So lots of good news there. But for something a little bit more ominous, let's look at the technical analysis. Nvidia is forming a death cross. That's when the 50-day crosses below its long-term moving average, which is the 200-day. And usually when that happens, shares have fallen as much as 50%. And Nvidia has just really been trading sideways since May 2024. So maybe, is the peak there? No one can tell.
It just feels to me, again, not being an AI expert, that AI lift to maybe Nvidia, maybe to the tech sector, maybe to the market overall, that's kind of played out. It just feels like to me.
And investors are just expecting more and more and more. Even when these companies they didn't beat enough. So it's risky.
And what else are you looking at?
Lastly, it's Darden. We have shares edging higher by more than 7%. That's the most intraday since December 19. Management said its implied fourth quarter guidance includes comparable sales growth above 3%. That's above consensus. And they also said that inflation levels are manageable, and they discussed ways in which they can mitigate a relatively limited tariff exposure. They stated about 80% of its cost basket is domestically sourced. So I had to look up what restaurants are under Darden, and it's Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, Bahama Breeze, Seasons 52, Yard House. They also have a fine dining restaurant chain, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Eddie V's Prime, and Capital Grill. I haven't been to any.
All right, so if you're outside of New York, New York's got the world-class steakhouses, but if you're outside of New York and in the middle of nowhere, the Capital Grill delivers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, steak.
But the Capital Grill down on Wall Street was like definitely a place to go and meet your contacts and hang out.
I know.
And that's in New York.
But I can't do that.
No,
I'm in New York.
I understand.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the budget way to do it. All right, Isabel, thanks very much. Really appreciate it, Bloomberg. Isabel Lee, cross-asset reporter.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.